What kind of tea are you drinking this morning, Lee?
I'm drinking my favorite. I'm drinking Trinity out of a very fun little designed cup
Oh, nice. All right.
and in a teapot that I got in China that it has a hole in the top so you can pour the water right into the hole here.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I've got some unblended brick
Oh,
myself,
that's nice.
and I've
That's a
got
great one.
I've got this pot.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and it's the perfect size for my little cup.
Uh-huh.
We got one of
Oh, that's
these.
perfect.
Yeah.
Good
You can
stuff.
see, I don't know if you can see no, you can't really see. There's
I
like the
can. Yeah, that's
rice
really
grains
cool.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Wow. Where
that
did you
cup.
get that did you get it in Santa Cruz or you found a spot in Portland?
Hidden Peak Tea House.
It looks like that.
Yeah. He said, well, Ben got him for me after we launched the teacher training for the first time, and
Oh,
it was successful. He was like, "Come down to Santa Cruz. I want to take you to the tea shop because I'm
oh,
in
that's
the Bay
awesome.
Area."
So
So,
you brought it around to the teacher training. I saw
yep.
what you did there.
That wasn't even intentional. It was just perfect.
That's because you're in the flow.
It is. Yeah. We can wait another minute or so for people to tune in, and maybe I'll do a bit of an orientation while we're waiting for some people to trickle in. So, welcome everybody to this Tea with Teachers event. It's very similar today. What we'll be doing is very similar to what we've done in the past. If you've come to any of our previous Tea with Teacher events, we have several of our lovely teachers here, Celeste and Bill, and hopefully Birgit will be joining us from, I believe, Egypt. I think she's stuck in traffic, so hopefully she'll be able to get to her Airbnb and join us.
Mm.
And
From
then we also
Egypt,
have,
huh?
what's that?
From Egypt.
All the way from Egypt, yeah.
Wow. God, that's great.
And
Let's
we
do
have,
Qigong at the pyramids.
that sounds amazing. We could rent a whole pyramid and
That sounds great. I had a Qigong, one of my Qigong teachers way back in the day. He this is like in the early 90s, but he bribed one of the guards to let him stay in the pyramids overnight and do Qigong.
that's
And he wrote a whole article about it. I'll have to dig that up because that was a quite extraordinary place to do Qigong.
oh yeah.
He said it was a little spooky in the middle of the night because he spent the night in the pyramid.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Yeah, see if you can find that article.
I know.
I want to
Quite
know
a story.
that. Nice. Um, so yeah, we have a bunch of our teachers here. In a moment, I'm gonna bring up Celeste and ask her some questions about how she got started teaching Qigong. We'll do the similar thing with Bill and Jenny as well. And after that, after we hear stories from all of our teachers, we'll go into a Q&A segment. And if you have questions about the teacher certification program, Lee and I will be sticking around to answer all the questions that you have. And we always try and stay on as long as it seems like there's a lot of questions coming through. So if you have questions, feel free to stick around. And we always record these and we'll post it onto YouTube usually later today. After I'll send an email out and I'll post it across all of our social profiles as well. So if you need to leave early, you can always catch the remainder of the call, including the Q&A segment, once it's all posted up onto YouTube. So anything you want to share before we get into things and I bring up Celeste Lee?
Oh no, I'm just excited. I always love these sessions and love getting people into the teacher training. It just ends up being a wonderful deep dive for people, whether they end up teaching or not. It is a profound experience that we've just heard from so many people over the years, and yeah, just love kicking it off with this.
Awesome. Thanks, Lee.
Yeah.
All right, Celeste, let's bring
Great.
you up. How's it going?
Hi, great. Actually, pretty good. Pretty good. Great.
Nice.
Well, I'm all the way here in Argentina. Greeting everyone. It's
So
a
good to see you,
pleasure.
Celeste.
Great to see you again.
So
I'm getting
Celeste
used
was
to
just with
talking
us
to
in our
you.
tier 2 training.
Yes, I was.
What a magical week.
That was pretty magic. Yeah, that was absolutely great. I still have like the smile, you know? I'm
I can see
still
it still.
wearing my
Yeah.
smile.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
It was amazing. It was really great. Thank you again for everything. It was total pleasure.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for being here and sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for everything. It's a pleasure. Again, I love being here. I love sharing my story. I love sharing what I've learned. And if that helps, those of you guys who feel like you still don't know what to do, well, this might help you, you know? It's always great to see and listen to other teachers and, kind of feel not alone. That's it. That's the idea.
Nice.
Yeah.
I agree. What let's jump in with some of your background and how did you find Lee? What drew you into the teacher training? Like what was going on in your life?
Well, I used to be a teacher of English, and then I quit to become a full-time mom. And during the pandemic, I got really interested in, health and healing and owning, your health and trying to improve like the way we live. And in that search, the algorithm, sometimes we say it's not that cool, but it's like Qi, it's frequency. So, I was in the right frequency and I was reading and studying about functional medicine, Ayurveda as well, and of course, TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. And at that time, February 2022, Lee was presenting his acupressure and self-massage course. So I jumped into the free online training, kind of the tea with teachers, but for acupressure, and loved it, registered and started. And that very first day after the class, which was amazing, Lee said, let's stand up and practice and move. And I was like, what? I didn't even know that movement was included. And that's the first time I heard about Qigong in my life. So I was amazed at how I felt, how the movement, the energy felt. And I said to myself, I need to know a bit more about this. And that's when I jumped into the website. I found the 30-day challenge, bought it. So I started, studying that course and the 30-day challenge. At the time, he offered the 5-day challenge as well. So I also jumped in there and I completed all the requirements so that my name was there, and I won a wonderful first prize on that first day. And I, 3 free months subscription, lots of courses, and the healing sounds, Qigong for upper back and for low back. And so I just, spent like hours and hours every day studying, writing things down, learning names, feeling absolutely great. I could not believe how I was feeling. Talking about health and healing, I was feeling amazing. And 2 months after that, there was a tea with teachers. I attended, like you guys are attending today. And, I said, I have to share this. Like, I have to learn this and share this. Some other teachers, Lee himself, they were talking about how we could learn about Qigong, about about how everything works, about basic guidelines, about a deep dive. So I said, I'll jump in and see how it suits me, talked it over with my husband. And he said, I never saw you happier. So just go for it. And I did. And it's self-paced. You can take your time. but I didn't take my time. I just, I was hungry for the whole thing. I did the whole thing, like writing things down, practicing many hours a day. I absolutely loved it. And 1 year exactly later, after that first free online training, I got certified.
Mm.
Unbelievable. And I felt better than ever.
Amazing. And you just got your tier 2 certification now too, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes, I just got it. I got my email the other day. After I wanted to finish it with the advanced training week in Santa Cruz. I wanted to meet Lee. I wanted to meet everyone. It was the perfect, close to this wonderful tier 2 path. Amazing. Really, really amazing.
Love that. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Celeste.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you joined acupressure and had never even done Qigong before, and then sort of you were exposed to it that way. That's amazing.
That was really amazing. And an interesting thing that happened was that I, not knowing, made me trust how I felt, because sometimes the theory, I mean, what you are supposed to feel, and you kind of, like start thinking, well, I'm supposed to feel good. I had no idea. I was just feeling great. Many times you'll hear, and you've heard Lee talk about going through life and being depleted versus being energized. And being a mom of 2 kids, having, the family, the house, the kids, the dogs, the cats, you think that you have to be tired. You have to be grumpy, like, because that's part of being a mom. And then I realized that I could be energized, that I could feel good. And that's, I was studying to become a teacher, a Qigong instructor, and I won that. As I was practicing, as I was doing the things, I started feeling better and better. And I'm going to share something personal that might help you guys listening. But when I first started doing Qigong, I was 48 and a half, and now I'm 52. Like all these years, I went through the highest peak of my perimenopause and menopause, and I didn't even realize, it was like, that's a plus, and that's a huge plus. That is, I see my friends, I talk to my friends, and they are, healthy women and everything, but they are facing like lots of things, and all my energy work, all the movement, all the studying, all the connecting has made a huge difference. Like, I realize now that I've been feeling great. I do not have the symptoms that many of my friends have. Like, they were fine as when you're on a beach, like swimming, and you look the other way and a wave comes and it sweeps you off your feet. That's what happened to many of them. And that's the feeling. They were great, and they say, now this hit me, and I don't know, like, things get all over the place. For me, being immersed in my studies, that kind of flowed very naturally, very much so. And I want to share that, because that's also part of this training. The full cup thing that Lee always talks about.
You have any experience with low energy from kids, Lee?
You know what? I loved her story that just bringing in the Qigong into everyday life just makes it so much more rich and less stressful. And yes, absolutely. I remember I had twins that were 4 months old, and I thought, hey, this is a good time to open a new business with 17 practitioners. I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. So twins were 4 months old. They each got up in the night, like I would say 4 times. So solid 8 times a night getting up. And I had started a business with a doctor. So we did an integrative medicine. We had 17 practitioners that we were managing, and there was a whole Qigong section of the business. And I was like, wow, I think I could have waited another year before I opened a business and had twins. Some days I was like trying to do acupuncture on people in the afternoon, and I was like, uh-oh, I better do some activations because I am falling asleep trying to put needles in somebody. And I was thinking, if I didn't have my Qigong practice, I don't know how I would have gotten through twins and a new business and making DVDs and things like that. I was just so grateful about my practice, and I did more practice, even though I had quote unquote less time. I was like, okay, now's the time to really sink into my practice. And it really got me through, not only got me through, but it got me through in a way that I really enjoyed all of it, instead of just feeling like I was trying to get through all of it. And I think it makes a big difference between just getting through challenging times or thriving through challenging times. Well, I really love Celeste talking about the Qigong and even things like, every life experience, like, just normal rites of passages like menopause. It's how much better, how much easier it can be when you have your practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We take we take like bad symptoms, like bad things for granted, and we say, okay, well, this is going to happen to you when like everybody is expecting bad things to happen to you, like you're going to have your kids, they're going to be small, they're going to be tired, they're going to be grumpy, you're going to be, and you don't have to.
Yeah.
And that is a pretty interesting thing to notice. And the deep dive, the teacher training helped me go through difficult times. I mean, we all go through challenging times because life is challenging, but you can really, really thrive through like most of it.
And you make a good point too, Celeste. Like you were saying, it's normal to be grumpy because you're a mom. It's normal to be grumpy because you're working hard. It's normal to be just stressed out because of these normal situations. And I always think what we're striving to do is not be normal. Because normal is stressed out and wired and tired and having problems and getting through. And a lot of times what we're doing in this practice will take you way beyond normal into something much more magical, where you're like, where if you step back, you go, wow, how did I get through all of that in such a way? I mean, even now I feel like I'm in a situation where I have 3 teenage daughters and a toddler. I guess she's not a toddler anymore, a little one, a little 4-year-old. And I'm traveling, and it's like, it's just been it's been effortless, but it's been intentional and conscious. And I notice when I put lots of thought, time, energy, and attention to make it go smoothly, and it does. And I'm not having like normal teenage problems. And I'm using a lot of Qigong principles in parenting and all kinds of stuff. And so it's just it does seem like a magic wand that you have, that just, even if it just elevates your ability and skill and performance in those everyday life situations another 5 or 10%, it makes a huge difference over time.
Yeah, it does. And I was thinking that then, to be able to share that, those tools with people and actually share them and see people, just help them feel better and actually see that happening, and having them, come back and talk to you and tell you, wow, I had trouble sleeping and I thought that was normal, but now, I can sleep. I come to your class and I sleep. And I was like,
Mm, mm,
it,
mhm.
so it's not only for us, which I mean, it's absolutely amazing when it is, but it's also for those who live with us and those who, come to class or just watch a video or whatever. It's really, really interesting.
Mm, mm. Absolutely. Love
Okay.
it, Celeste.
Have it
You
too.
you answered the question I wanted to ask next, which was along the lines of how have you found that teaching has supported your personal practice?
A lot. I mean, I love teaching. I was always a teacher, but I never taught with my body. I taught with my
Mhm.
head. So I would just, like that I had to learn uh, to feel comfortable with, with my body as it is. That's also part of that road I was telling you about, related to feeling good with who you are. And, this is a temple and we have to honor it. And sometimes you just feel like, okay, I stand up in front of people and, I'm 50 and I didn't, whatever, and I don't feel good. So that also comes with the practice, that feel good thing. And I had to learn that as well. It was kind of nice and natural, but I had to learn that. And teaching and repeating it and just like sharing it time and time again has helped me feel better in my body, just being able to share it better. And then what Lee has done with Qigong, he's brought it to us. Like it's easy for me to explain what we're doing. First of all, because he's already done it, it's here. And so I listen to him, I learn from him, and then I am able to explain things in the same language that we move in the Western language that we have. Like you can do this, you feel it, but then know that you are, activating this or that, you are calming this or that, you are cleaning or cleansing or whatever. So that also helps those of us who need to understand these other things, need the theory, the why, the how. You do research now and you hear about fascia. People are turning to fascia now. And I look at videos and this is okay, this is what we do. So, and this is what these people did like thousands of years ago. And,
Mm,
so fascia maneuvers, that's what we do. The lymphatic system, okay, this is how we activate it. I don't know, stretches and activations and moving meditations and all these things that people are talking. I mean, you go through Instagram and it's all about knocking on the door of life, shaking, and and it's like, hey, this is what we
hey,
do.
we've been doing that.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah,
So
exactly. I've seen
yeah,
that. Try these 5 Chinese exercises for longevity and health. We're like, yeah, that's what we do. There's more than 5 though.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Mm,
Uh, so Celeste, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to make sure we get to some of our other teachers. So last question, what would you say to someone that is considering enrolling and becoming a teacher?
Oh, I would say go for it. I don't have, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be great. There's you know, I did not talk about Jenny. I did not talk about you or Ben or everybody who works with Lee, who work with Lee. So you won't feel alone ever. You'll feel absolutely supported, and I don't see anyone with more patience than Lee to answer questions, and you know, he's there every month talking to us if we need to. Jenny is 24/7 there, whatever, no, whenever. Everyone is replying, and you know, and having you there, like, you know. So go for it. It's a wonderful path that if you're here, you are thinking about it. That's, you know, that's why you're here.
I love it. Thank you,
Thank you.
Celeste. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for taking the time. And
Of course,
I think
anytime.
where could, if someone if someone wanted to get in touch with you, can you put your contact information into the chat?
Definitely, of course.
Thank you. Cool. Thank you, Celeste. And Lee, anything else you want to add before we bring up Bill?
Let's bring up Bill. That was great. That was great, Celeste. Love it.
Bill Turner.
Hello.
Not the bootstrap Bill that we might know from Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, but close.
Hey.
Close,
I got a
close.
little pirate in me, I think.
We could do a whole new style of Qigong for pirates.
That's right.
Hey, they have stress too, you know.
Yeah, well, you got to be able to balance on the boat, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Balance on the boat. Got to be able to hold all that treasure.
Yep. We'll turn them into kind pirates.
I like it.
Yeah, look at me. I've got 3 treasures.
There we go. Oh my God, it's
Oh,
coming. There's a
Bada
whole
boom.
thing
Yeah.
coming here.
see
Yeah.
what you did there.
A whole new style. Okay, I like it.
Oh, Bill, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you in the world? What are you doing right now?
I live in Sisters, Oregon with
Oh,
my
beautiful.
wife Lori and 2 dogs. And it's a beautiful fall day right now. So, you know, just to tell you how I got started, because I think I do have some parallels with you, Lee, and we talked about it before, but I started back in the martial arts
Mm,
in 1978.
mm,
And so when I started with that, Qigong or Qi was very martial. It was all about
mm,
full contact, things like that. But um, then fast forwarding to 1985, I had a new instructor in Koshishori Kempo, and um, meditation and Qigong was a part of our martial art training. And he taught me an energy collection exercise. Um, and for some reason, it just totally resonated with me. And I came back to class. I lived in Tahoe, and he was down in the Sacramento and Rockland. And so every week I came down there, and so I came back after practicing that for a week, and I said, Hanchi, I love that. Um, what's next? You know, will you teach me something else? And he goes, what do you mean that what's next? I said, well, I really like that. It resonated with me. And he said, well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to do this for 10 years and then get back with me. And so I'm telling you this story just to give an idea of the work and training that I've done since 1985. And Qigong has been very traditional and repetitive, and standing movements or not standing movements, but standing practices. Um, and so I took uh, uh, my training and put that in the 90s into a self-defense program for kids. And I wrote an elementary, a middle, and a high school program.
mm,
And uh, so it was all about avoidance and escape, but I taught physical techniques. Battle cry was I am worth it. But the first thing I taught was a 4-part breathing exercise. And in the schools, we called it getting your rock down. And it's very simple, like literally coming up, pulling down the heaven, coming out, pushing out in the heart, feeling your space. And so I'm telling you this because the program, as I said, was for elementary kids, which was a blast. They loved it. Middle school, who go, oh my God, roll their eyes. But once they started doing it, they really enjoyed it. And the kids in high school enjoyed it.
Mm,
So did the parents and the teachers, because I had to do a 3-hour seminar with all the teaching staff at the end of the day. And, they're starting with their arms crossed, legs crossed. They've had a long day. It's like, God, who's this guy? But getting them up and showing them how to bring their stress level down, it just changed the whole room. So that was my trip through the 90s with
mm,
that. And also because I hadn't done my Reiki training, I've been a Reiki master for 28 years. But so I was using Qigong as a healing modality. Um, uh, and because part of this exercises I had learned was energy collection and energy extension with Qigong.
mm,
So that every kid or adult that I touched or said, here, grab me on the wrist, or I'm going to grab you on the wrist, what I
mm,
was doing is extending chi and love into these people. And
mm,
um, and so it was profound. And so many, too many stories to go into, but I want to move along to tell you how I got involved with Lee. Um, because in between that time of the schools and stuff, I taught seminars and groups and corporations and things like that. But as life would happen, in 2019, I was diagnosed with cancer on the
mm,
right side base of my tongue.
mm,
And um, and I knew I was going to need some help with that. And I'd seen Lee on Sounds True, PBS, and I'm a big fan of Wayne Dyer. And then I
mm,
saw Lee, and and I go, I'm gonna get one of these DVDs. Unfortunately, I got the one. It was a 4 DVD set back then, which is classic for upper back and neck was included for my neck.
mm,
And so I went through the process, and anybody that's gone through cancer knows the chemo, the radiation, and stuff. With 35 radiations to the neck, the doctors were expecting a lot more trauma. Um, but it it happened, but I always felt good. When I went into a cancer center, I saw a lot of people worse off than I was. So I was really wanting to just share some chi. And through working with Lee and seeing new ideas and his help, which I did the training with you every day. My blood work was always perfect, which they couldn't believe. My skin never had swelling or edema, which was expected. That never ever happened. I never had scarring in the neck. And, you know, I'm a survivor in holy chi.
mm.
Uh,
Holy gee,
yeah.
so good.
And so I guess sometimes you got to go through these things as a teacher and a believer in Qigong to really test it. But anyway, I was so impressed that I said, hey, I see the teacher certification program. I want to jump in and go through Lee's certification program, as almost 100 of you out there are thinking about today. Um, and it was one of the best things I've ever done because and now not only was I got my certification in 2021, but 10 courses later, 30 workshops
Mm,
later. um, the great thing about it is just it's been such a wonderful journey. Um, but I always reflect back that I didn't know what I didn't know. And even with my training starting in 78 and 85, and that's why I told that story. So the knowledge base that came along and the enjoyment of the journey um, was great, and it really um, has really given me a strong sense of authenticity and confidence in my teaching now.
That's so
Wow.
amazing, Bill. I love
I
hearing
love that. I love that story. I love so many aspects about it. It resonates very deeply with me and my practices with the martial arts. And then just I didn't realize that you had such an incredible healing journey. And I really love hearing that, because I think people don't understand the power of this work to be able to create deep healing. And we hear over and over again, and Chen, you can attest to this, like my doctor was like, oh, what are you doing? I've never seen this before. And how are you healing so fast? I've never seen blah 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 blah. And then when the answer is, well, I'm doing this Qigong thing, and they're like, I don't, they just scratch their head, and they're like, well, that can't be true. It needs to be some kind of medication that you're taking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my dad was a physician and surgeon for 40 years, and he thought chiropractors were voodoo and certainly acupuncture. And
Definitely.
and so usually ended up being a pretty short conversation, but I said, well, Dad, how long's the AMA been going?
Mm-hmm.
200 years?
Yeah.
Well, the traditional Chinese medicine, this is 5,000.
Yeah. 5,000.
Then it pretty much cut off after that,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I
Exactly.
think for um, I just one other quick little story too. Um, in my teaching, I was teaching at a Parks and Rec program up here in Sisters, Oregon, and I had clients, and I can't help but send them to watch Lee because everybody goes, "Well, how am I going to remember this?" And so it's like, look, go look up Lee Holden on YouTube. You can buy programs, check it out. And and so one of the students at the end, she had done that. We were talking, and she goes, I really love that guy. He
Mm.
teaches a lot like you do.
That's awesome.
And
I
to
love
me, I'm
that.
like, yeah, yeah. And because I think one of the things for you as possible new teachers is the program itself is vast. It's big, it's exciting, it can be uh, tough. I mean, it really makes you think. But that what makes getting your certificate all that much sweeter. Um, but so uh, don't worry about the vastness of it.
Mm.
You just need to jump in and enjoy it, uh, literally one day at a time, one
Mm.
session at a time. And I can say that from the very first, after the discussion, the very first meditation, where am I?
Mm.
That's a life changer right there.
Mm.
Brings you into the now because
Mm.
as I'm talking or we're all talking, remember, please, this is all about you. This is your internal journey. And so I'll talk more on that later. But
Mm.
anyway, here I am.
So good, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. What I was getting a question similar to what I was going to ask next is, what are you doing now with your certification?
Um, well, it's funny because Ben asked me that same question almost 5 years ago.
Mm.
And I said, well, I'm going to be teaching Qigong, taking care of my clients, doing my healing work, doing my distance healing, working on horses, dogs, and people and land.
Mm.
And but I didn't realize what would really take place over the next 4.5 years of the depth of the knowledge that I would gain in the process of going through the certification program. Yes, but then continuing to teach and share that. So I just feel that uh, things have gotten deeper for me. I've been a professional ski instructor for 35 years as well. And so I created a company called Qi Gong.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it took me a year and a half. I copyrighted it. Um, and that was fun to get that. But working with professional ski instructors and racers and working with their health, their breath, calming the mind, longevity, all the exercises that are involved. And then that's morphed into a lot of single work on Zoom with people that want to, well, can you just help me with this? And so, I teach at least 3 classes on Zoom a week. I do seminars, and it keeps me busy. And I mean, you never know when you're going to have the opportunity to share. And I think Jenny knows where I'm going with this, but I did have a surgery last year. I had a blocked carotid artery. So I had to go into the hospital. I had a surgery in the morning, and then I could get out of bed, had to spend the night at the hospital, but could get out of the bed at 3 o'clock. And so I took a walk around the floor with the nurse. And then, and I'm curious how people's lives are and such. So she was saying how much stress she's kind of under. It's a heavy duty, kind of intermediate care. It's a heart floor. And I go, well, do you breathe much? Do you use breath work and to
Mm.
kind of calm your mind down and take that stress out of your neck and shoulders? She goes, no. And I go, well, let me show you. So um, anyway, so we took a picture of me in my gown, and I was still hooked up with stuff, but teaching her a breathing exercise, pulling down the heavens, soaring crane. And the good thing is I didn't get that picture taken where she was standing behind me. So there was no bare butt hanging out. Uh, um, but anyway, to me, I'm telling you that because as you get into the certification program, people are going to be asking you, can you help me? And yes, you can. Um, and it can be as simple as something in 2 to 5 minutes of just showing them a simple breathing exercise or saying,
Mhm.
just breathe in through the nose 5 seconds and out through the nose 5 seconds. Focus on your exhale. Please do that and get back with me. That
Mm.
sort of thing. So there are simple things that can have profound um, results for you, but the people around you. Um, so I, my kind of one of my mantras is never miss the opportunity to share Qigong. So,
Yeah.
and, so that's what I'm doing now.
Love that. Well, I was going to ask you what you would say to someone that was considering enrolling, but I think you answered that. So I have a different question for you.
Oh,
What was the exercise that your teacher in 85 showed you that he told you to do for 10 years?
well, Chen, that's going to cost you.
Yeah.
Okay. We're almost neighbors, so I can drive down this afternoon.
But it really it involved um, uh, working. There's a breath hold involved with it,
Okay.
and coming up, there's gathering energy from the universe. There's a breath hold. There's bringing that down to the Dantian with a golden elixir, and a swallowing of the golden elixir. It's all put into there in one movement.
Okay.
And the thing about it is the, and I've done it every day for pretty much every day for 40 years. And it's a part of my daily, and I only have to do like 5 of them, but it's just such a, it's like an icing on the cake with after the Qigong practice. Um, but I did want to go into a little bit of what I would like to share with people of that are
Please.
thinking about
Yeah.
getting in here because um, I've said this before, but I'm happy to have the opportunity to say it again, is never miss the opportunity to train with a Taoist master. Lee Holden is a Taoist master. I have trained with masters in Qigong over a 40-year period and in the martial arts. Um, and Lee has shown me time and time again that it just gets deeper and deeper. And we're all talking about that. And Celeste, it does gets deeper. And so for those of you that are thinking of signing up, I like to kind of use the analogy of Lee guides us into like starting with um, discussions and meditations and then movement, and it goes on and on. But he takes us into the baby pool. So we're waiting, kind of getting in and getting our feet wet a little bit with the Qigong. And what I've seen over these last 5 years is that then, you move to neck deep in the water in the training, and then all of a sudden you're swimming in the deep end. And now, like in, level 2, that sort of thing, you're doing a little bit of scuba diving and really getting down deep into the water and appreciate that. But it takes a master to be able to guide you. And I think the program, the support, and the knowledge base that's here um, is profound, really. Um, and, um, in the world today, for me, Holden Qigong is my anchor in the storm. It grounds me
Mm.
no matter what's going on. When I see Lee, I see Chen, I see Jenny, I see Nico, I see Susan, Kelly, all the crowd uh, that I feel, and now Celeste, that I feel are like my friends in the world. I feel connected. I feel grounded. Um, but my last thought for you guys is that I want you to join, of course, but I want you to do it for yourself. And I've got one last little quick story and I'll wrap it up. Is that okay, Chan?
Mm.
Yes, I do see that Birgit's on, so she'll be able to come up next. Yeah,
Okay, well,
go for it.
just this last little quick one. In the martial arts, in the training I did, I would always go down to an advanced black belt class. And then there were these two guys who were always sitting there and they'd hang out and just drink coffee. But they just liked being around that. And that went on for like a year. And finally I said, and they would always talk about how they wanted to get involved. And so I asked, I says, hey, you guys, where do you want to be in 2 years? You want to still be sitting on the couch talking
Mhm.
about becoming a martial artist? Or do you want to buy yourself a gi and get in a program and start? Because in 2 years, things will change dramatically. And that is kind of a metaphor for, if you're thinking about getting into this, do it because things will change for the positive for you. Um, and look at it as giving a gift to yourself. For one reason, you're worth it. And don't let anybody talk you out of it. If you're here for a reason today, if you are, as Celeste says, resonating with this frequency, this consciousness, step into it, go for it, and make it sacred.
Mm, mm,
Love that, Bill.
mm.
There's
So
a
thank you, Lee and Chen and Jenny and all my friends out there. It's a joy.
Mm.
um,
That was so touching, Bill. Thank you so much. I super appreciate that. I feel inspired every time we do these talks to just continue what we're doing and bringing this work out into the world. And I just always feel like it's just so important. Like you said, in in the storm, we can be an anchor for each other. And I know you're an anchor for so many, Bill. So thank you for all those kind words.
Oh, you're welcome, Lee.
Yeah.
Thank you for this journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
there's a saying that goes around, I think, that I've heard, Bill, that I think might connect with your story, that people often ask, like, how hard is it, or like, what's the hardest belt to get in a martial arts lineage? And people often assume it's a black belt,
Mm-hmm.
but really it's the white belt, because most people never start.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And I think everybody here is probably actively practicing, is my guess, or they have some kind of practice already. So you've already progressed beyond that point. So congratulations.
Well, the one thing then when you finally get to a black belt, then there's 10 more levels.
Yeah, it's just the introduction to get
It's like, okay. And that's how it feels with this training. And you know, do it every day and you'll feel a difference.
I love that. Cool. Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And will you put your contact information into the chat in case anyone
Yeah,
wants to get in
yeah,
touch with you?
yeah.
They want some Qi Gong lessons.
Okay.
I definitely do.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill.
You bet.
All right. Birgit, I see you've arrived, I think. Hello.
Yeah. Hello, I did.
Are you still in Egypt? You were taking a trip, I think, and you got caught in some traffic.
Oh yeah, I was traveling from Cairo to Alexandria because we have a long weekend and I wanted to go to the North Coast. And there was lots of evening traffic from the bus station to my Airbnb. But now I've arrived, not best light condition, but I think you can guess.
That's okay. You made it.
Yeah.
Just in time. So can you tell us a little bit about you? Where are you from? Where are you now? I think we know you're in Egypt, but what are you doing in Egypt?
I'm working in a nursery with the young ones, like 1 to 3 year old. I'm a social worker. And since 10 years, I've worked in different kindergartens.
Amazing.
And
Wonderful.
yeah, and it's for like it's English, German, and Arabic. And I've never seen I call it's a paradise for children. Like they have so many different rooms, and I'm now head of the construction room. I love it. I can introduce Montessori material, and I'm free to create the room. And I've never given so much freedom at the beginning of a job. It's really awesome.
That's amazing. Cool. And how did you find your way into the teacher certification program? Like, what drew you into learning to teach?
I started a little earlier, like in 2001, when I did my first Qigong course. Yeah, I told you that in the pre-talk, like it was really helping me so much because I was in the middle of a really hard break. And it was the 1 hour in the week I wasn't thinking, I was just present and relaxing. And this was the thing I was continuously doing every day. And I can say, like in the last, now it's 24 years, I only skipped maybe a few months. And I've been training all the time with different teachers, mainly from Germany. but also I had the opportunity to join some Chinese teachers. And when I was struggling with a tennis elbow, I was looking on YouTube. Can I find something to help with Qigong, maybe? And I found Lee Holden. And just having these simple exercises helped me more than the physiotherapist, to be honest. And it was the flows.
Mm.
And yeah, it was maybe 1 or 2 weeks, and I got rid of it. And so I was interested, of course, and I found the morning routine on YouTube that you can do for 20 minutes. And I thought, wow, this feels really different than any other Qigong I've done so far. So I went to the script, how do you say, class, when you do have the 2 weeks trial, that thing. And then I felt like, okay, this is the training I want to do. Because I've been thinking of doing a Qigong teacher training the years before, but I wasn't sure which one. But this one was totally clear to me that this is what I want to do, because the setup of the ingredients makes it so accessible that people can find the flow state. Like I can say, like almost everyone I've been teaching had kind of a flow experience in the first lesson, and that's super quick.
Mm. Mm.
Powerful.
Mm.
I love that. And what are you doing with your certification now?
Like now, as I'm really new to Cairo, I have to organize first. But before I was teaching like for 1 year in a neighborhood community space on donation. And it helped me to collect the practice hours for our certification. And I continued as I had really some loyal students coming almost every week. So I really enjoyed that.
Cool. Are you using the Qigong practices with the work you do with the kids?
They are 1 to 3 year old. I think with 1 year, I don't know if Lee has suggestions, but it's more with my colleagues. They already benefited a little bit for the lower back because, yeah, this is the stress zone when you carry children.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah, you pretty much learn from the 1-year-olds. They're our teachers.
It's the other way around, I see.
Yeah, exactly. We're the students.
Yeah. It's good to be reminded.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you definitely, to keep your energy up when you're caring for kids is just so important. Yeah, they're so intuitive too, and so their felt sense and their energetic connection is great. So I love that you're teaching the other healthcare providers and other educators this work. And what you said too about like how people can get into the flow state quickly. I mean, it just is, I spent a lot of time thinking about this in my early teaching, like how can I give people an experience quickly, which is weird because go slow to go fast. Yes, is kind of what we're doing. We're moving slowly, but you get results very quickly in terms of feeling the energy, having a wow effect. And I think that is what was so necessary in my early days of teaching, because if I didn't give people a wow effect early, they wouldn't come back because there was too many choices and it was too different than everything else.
Yeah, but it's also what a friend of mine loves a lot is the releasing, like really like the tiger clearing stuff. She's a doctor and she's also a yoga teacher. And when she was stressed out, I asked her, don't you know it's some yoga exercise to release your stress? And she said, no. And we were in a park and I asked her, do you want to do Qigong with me? And she loves it.
Oh, that's great.
Daily routine now. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
It.
No, I love it when our medical providers and our MDs start doing Qigong and really feeling the benefits, because I think that really helps to build the bridge between what we're doing and the public.
Yeah, there's still lots of work. Like I was teaching in a festival and I heard like on the fire in the evening, oh, there's only just Tai Chi in the morning, no yoga. And by the way, I'm the teacher.
Oh, that's great.
It's a small group coming. And when I showed up the next year, 2 men come to me, oh, are you teaching every morning again? So maybe not every morning, but let's see. So if people made it, Yes, then they are there. But it's still a lot of work. Like, what is it? And maybe I'll try it.
So great. I love it. And I love that you're in Egypt doing this practices. We were talking about we were talking before you showed up about doing Qigong in the pyramids. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, book us a room and we'll be there.
I'll take you by the word.
Okay.
Nice. It sounds like a really fun trip. We should do
I
it.
enjoy
it
it.
really
I
does.
definitely enjoy it.
Cool. And Birgit, what would you share with someone, or what would you say to someone that's considering joining the teacher certification and getting certified to teach?
Yes, like I'm inspired by Celeste to sharing a bit how I felt the training for myself. What makes it really, maybe bringing it to the point when I realized I have done the half. I was getting a little sad because it's only half left. Like I really enjoyed the whole process. Like if you think it's just recordings, yes, it's recordings, but you will benefit so much. And as I told before, like I'm doing Qigong since 20 years, but the progress I made in terms of getting lighter and more into the flows in these months is really remarkable. And I can also say, like, whatever you need support, you write to the support team and they will be there. Whether I can tell of experience, whether the credit card is doing some funny things or you lose your job in between. Yeah, and what I think wasn't mentioned yet is the amazing Facebook group. Like you meet so many people there, and then you ever have something to share, whether it's like you really want some advice or you some happiness or even some struggles, you'll find so many people are willing to give you support.
Mm-hmm.
Really amazing. It makes it really special.
Thanks, Birgit. All right. Anything else you want to share before we bring up Jenny?
I think I'm good, and I hope that was fine.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with all of us, and look forward to seeing what you do with everything. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, let's bring up Jenny, our very own. Hi, Jenny.
Hello, hello. Hi, Chen. Hi, friends, new friends, old friends, all the friends. Lee, how are you doing?
Welcome, Jenny. Thanks for coming up and sharing.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. And yeah, I get the pleasure of sharing at the end, and I get to sparkle with all of the chi that Bill, Celeste, and Birgit scattered around. I love it.
Oh, good.
Well,
And Chen, I don't know if you know this, but when Jenny came to our week 2 teacher training, I didn't realize that Jenny had already been certified as one of our teachers when she got her role as the teacher trainer liaison. So that was always a nice surprise.
Yep.
one of the requirements. Yep.
Yeah, that was great.
So just in case people don't know who you are, Jenny, could you share a little bit about, well, where in the world are you? Who are you? And what do you do with us? What's your role?
Absolutely. So I am Jenny Delich. Where am I in the world? Actually, I'll kind of localize that right now because I happen to be in Colorado at my parents' house on a little family vacation right now. So I'm in my mom's guest room. You have my mom's quilting on the wall behind me here. But most days I'm actually just a stone's throw away from Chen up in the Pacific Northwest, just outside of Portland, Oregon. So most weeks you'll see me coming in from there. And I am honored to be the teacher liaison at Holden Qigong. And so what does that mean? That means that I am here for you as teachers. I am the person who helps to interface between the teachers and the company, getting communications bridged and helping to bring Lee's wisdom forward to you, although Lee does an amazing job of that himself, might I say, but it just helps us to kind of spread it out a bit more so that you get a bit more too.
That's amazing. And so let's see. how did you get started teaching Qigong?
I was gonna say I've got the multiple faces, different hats I can put on here. So I'll put
Yeah,
on the
you do.
teacher hat. And yeah, how did I get started in this whole thing? I'll take it back to when I was 18 and started teaching myself yoga from books because it sounded like a good thing to do. And a couple years later, had some friends who were taking up belly dancing, and that sounded like a good thing to do. So I became a belly dancer, and that was my love and passion for many, many years, doing belly dance yoga. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, I got to a point where I was still really loving the embodied movement of the dance. Just I do really love that. Um, but was kind of seeking a little more, what am I working with here as I dance? And also bless their hearts, I love the belly dance community so much, but there is this gentle, constant pressure to get up on stage, get a new costume, go perform. And that wasn't so much speaking to where I was at with it anymore. And I was wondering, well, okay, so what is the next thing for me in my movement practice? And actually, just outside that door, sitting around the kitchen table at my parents' house about that time with my brother and one of my dear friends, they were talking with me about energy practices, movement practices. And I think it was my brother who was like, "Oh, have you heard of this Qigong thing?" And I had not at that point, but he shared a video with me and I didn't look back. That was it. Like, this is what I'm talking about. And to be honest, from that moment forward, my journey with Qigong has been pretty much kind of opening up to, all right, universe, what's next? And then the universe says, here's a path. Would you like to take it? And it's been a beautiful progression, step by step in that regard. So I started in on a personal practice of Qigong, cultivated that for a few years. And, with belly dance, I was so in love with it, but I never got to a point where I felt like I could or wanted to teach it. But with Qigong, after a few years, thought, this I could teach. And it so happened that coincided with the pandemic. And I was also having the thought, actually, more than this I could teach, but this I should teach. Like, people really need to develop and cultivate skills that can bring them personal resilience, especially in that moment. And it's something that I feel, I could stand up in front of folks and I could convey these things. Now I have an academic background in teaching. And so, of course, started asking, okay, what do I need? What's the next step? And first thing was, I need a practicum. So, of course, I wrangled my brother and my dear friend who introduced me to the practice and said, all right, you're my students. I'm going to teach you. And I started teaching them, but then also knowing, okay, well, but that's not enough. I need some credentials. And it was actually one of my in-person teachers in Portland at the time. And I started talking to her about, well, what does it mean to be a Qigong teacher? Like, how do you do this thing? She's the one who actually mentioned Lee to me. And Lee, forgive me, I am going to share something I don't think I've shared before. My first reaction was, well, I know who he is, but I mean, he's kind of a little bit of a bro, right?
Exactly.
Well, and so, but she gave me that moment of pause of like, okay, let's look beyond the cover. Let's look a little deeper. And Lee, forgive me, because that was me judging the book by its cover. The more I dug in and studied your practices, the more I realized, wow, okay, Lee knows what he's talking about. Furthermore, he, like Bill said, he's standing on just so many lineages that he's studied in depth, pulling together that. And Lee, although you have a rather masculine physique, you are very yin and yang balanced. So you are able to honor both sides of the coin in a beautiful way. And I appreciated that pretty early on. And then I'll tell you what flipped me into the program ultimately was one of these promo moments when you were offering clarity calls, and I had a chance to chat with my predecessor, incidentally also named Jenny. It also seems to be a requirement for this role.
Yeah.
But I chatted with Jenny and I came in with my little list of questions and it's like, okay, so, you know, I've studied with some different styles and different forms. Is that a problem? No, not a problem at all. Okay, great. Well, I'm not going to be able to complete this in 16 weeks. Can I go on a 2-year plan? No, not a problem at all. You do it at self-paced. Oh, okay, great. Well, I'm a little like I want it online, but I'm also concerned about limiting myself by being online. And then that's when we started talking about things like the masterclasses that you get to attend twice a month. Those are with the senior instructors. So they're kind of taking Lee's wisdom and amplifying it and shining different lights on it. Then there's the Q&As with Lee every month. And now I am honored to host open office hours every week. And that's a great opportunity to come together, teachers to teachers. You get to ask me all the little questions that are tickling your brain. But more than that, it's really an opportunity for you to be together as a community, to support each other, to share some of your answers to fellow teachers' questions, and many other beautiful things. So as I was talking to Jenny about all these additional benefits, it was kind of like, all right, I can't imagine another program that has all of these benefits that go on in perpetuity for a lifetime. So that's what flipped me into the program. That's my teacher story. Jen, do we want the teacher liaison story too, or just the teacher story today?
I do want to hear all of the stories, but I wanted to make sure there's still some time for answering questions. So
absolutely,
we'd say if you'd like to hear Jenny's teacher liaison story, you can enroll and join the next office hours.
I think that's beautiful.
Which is, when is the next office hours, Jenny?
Well, that would be next Wednesday. And let me check. Right now, we have them on Wednesdays and we alternate back and forth between morning and afternoon Pacific time. And so next Wednesday, the 15th, looks like we have an afternoon 4 p.m. Pacific.
Cool. There we go.
Moment you sign up, you are welcome to jump in.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jenny. Anything else that you'd like to share before we open up into questions?
Oh, just that. Oh my goodness, I'm still just reveling in the Qi that you all bring. That is the honor and the joy of my role. And I have to thank everyone present, whether you're current teachers or soon to be teachers, for bringing that energy together, for sharing it with each other, just being in community with each other. And it raises the vibration, gives us some of that life force vitality. So I'll leave it at that. And thank you all for being here. Thanks, Jen. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny. That's so great.
Cool. All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Bill, Celeste, Jenny, Birgit. Appreciate you all so much. This is one of my favorite events to do and hear all of your stories. Lee, you ready to answer some questions?
Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely, Jen. That's great.
Cool.
Such good speakers today. I felt very moving.
Yeah. We have some really amazing teachers.
I know.
And this is only 4, if we include Jenny, this is only 4 of the over 2,000 teachers that we have now at this point. So it's pretty cool. All right, folks. What we're going to do now is we're going to take some time to answer your questions. If you do have questions about the teacher certification program, I know we've already been on for over an hour. So if you do have a question, you can drop it in the chat, and my team is in the chat and they'll add it into a doc, and I'll be going through and asking Lee. So even if you're not here and you need to take off, I will still ask your question and it'll be in the recording. And really quick before we get into the Q&A stuff, if you are interested in becoming a teacher, you have the opportunity to enroll in the entire program for $500 off until, I think it's end of the day, Monday next week. So you have a little bit of time to do that and check things out. And if we don't answer your question today, you have 2 options available. There's lots of options available, but the 2 primary ways to get your questions answered. You can sign up for a clarity call, just like Jenny was talking about. I think we have one of our teachers and team members standing by to answer your questions and just talk with you one-on-one if you'd like to talk with someone one-on-one. It is not a sales call. We're not going to use weird used car lot salesperson tactics to try to convince you to enroll or anything like that. We call them clarity calls because we're helping you get clear if it's actually the right decision for you or not. And we are very happy saying, doesn't sound like this is the right thing for you right now, which we have done before. The other way to get your questions answered is just to write it in to support@holdenqigong.com. And our support team is pretty responsive and we'll get back to you usually within 24 to 48 hours. So those are two great ways to get your questions answered. And the clarity calls, I put the link into the chat there. We'll share it into the chat again. You'll probably notice if you go to sign up for one that there are some dates and times after Monday next week. We do that because we know that it's always sometimes kind of tight to fit in scheduling everything. So if you schedule a time to talk to someone through the clarity call link, we will honor the $500 off discount until your call. So you have some, don't worry about that. So, but if you are ready to just jump in right now, I will put the link into the chat right here. There it is, in the Zoom chat here. We'll also send it out over email. Okay, Lee, I think you answered this question in chat already, but I thought it would be good to have you do it for everybody's benefit. Do you have, or do we have materials to help someone learn to teach to children and teenagers inside of the teacher certification program?
And you know, the teacher certification would be the foundation, but then what you would do is tailor it towards kids, especially if you know how to teach particular age group, or if you have a skill set in that already, or you're already a teacher, it works really well. I've been teaching at Ohana Hospital, which is in Monterey. It was founded by Warren Buffett and family. And I've been teaching the psychologists and the nurses and the counselors there for teens with mental health issues, pretty severe mental health issues. And then I did a whole series of short videos for all of the kids, and it is going really well. They're having me come more frequently, and even having some of my teachers go and teach for them. I've taught for, you know, my kids' first grade classes or whatever grade they were in, going to teach a little Qigong for kids. I've taught summer camps, and you know, you have to really apply the principles to your audience. I do remember, I tell this story frequently. I in one summer I taught, in one day I taught to a Silicon Valley company. Then I taught to a summer camp for 5 to 10-year-olds. There was like 80 of them in my class. That was a trip. And then I went to a Jesuit retirement home with 80-year-olds. And I remember I taught virtually the same content, but in such different ways because the audience was so different. And that is one of the things that we talk about, is how to apply it to, you know, a yoga studio versus a Silicon Valley company versus a retirement center. You're going to have to be flexible with how we teach it. But the principles that you learn in the Qigong teacher training apply to all of that. So, and one of the things that I really want to do at some point in the near future, I know I've been talking about it for a while, is a Qi Kids kind of online program course, something like that. And working with the kids at the Ohana Hospital has really got me excited about doing that.
Awesome. Thanks, Lee. And I think there was this question from Kelly in the chat about is travel required for the course? The short answer to that is no. This is an entirely online certification program. But the follow-up question to that, usually, I think, if you could speak to this, Lee, is most Qigong training and certifications, I think, traditionally have been done in person. And so do you feel like you still get the benefit of the training? Is it still the same level of training that you might get because it's an online program? Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because there's there's benefits to the online training, and there's also downfalls to an online training. The benefits is you have the content always. And it's a huge benefit, because when I used to teach them live and in person, people would come, they'd take copious notes. They'd come for 2 weeks, and then they'd go home and they'd try to decipher their notes and remember what they did. And it was always very challenging to remember all the movements, all the philosophy, all the theory, all the meditations. When you're live and in person, you get, and then in live and in person, you get this this influx of energy, because we're all there together, and I love that. But there's benefits to both. And that's why in the tier 2, we have a live in person requirement, and where we all come together and we do the practices and we can see each other. I think you've heard from some of our tier 2 practitioners. And so that's kind of where we get the live and in person. And then the tier 1, you get to review and take your time and really digest the content and the material, with a lot of like hands-on Q&As and masterclasses. And we've included a bunch of extra curriculum from my workbooks, from some of video class subscriptions that applied, from our PBS content. So we really give you a lot of content to see and feel and digest the practice. And then in the tier 2, we get you here in person, and we really dive into hands-on experiences, and it really even teaching in small groups to each other and giving you feedback on what that's like. And yeah, so that's how we've designed it, and it works really well.
Beautiful. Cool. Thanks, Lee. And let's see, I think Ariane is asking, I think you're asking good questions about like, what do you actually get? And can you share more about the master classes? And Charles was asking, what do you actually get inside of the program, and sort of what are the details about the office hours and all of that kind of stuff. So I think I might be able to answer a lot of those questions just by sharing my screen and giving you a little bit of a tour of just you can see the list of everything that's included, and then I'll go inside of the program and just click around a little bit so you can see like what the master classes are and the schedule and how it all looks inside of the program. So would that be helpful for people? Could I get a thumbs up if that feels helpful? Yeah, cool. I see some thumbs up, so I'm gonna do that quick. All right, sharing my screen here. So if you go to the chat, the tier 1 teacher certification program link, this list is lower down on the page, and this has everything that's included inside of the program. So you get lifetime access to 70 hours of all of the course material, lifetime access to the monthly group Q&A call with Lee. You get lifetime access to the master classes and the masterclass library, lifetime access to the office hours with Jenny. You get 3 private one-on-one sessions with our senior instructors. So as you're going through the program, you can get direct feedback from an experienced teacher. Once you're certified, you can create a profile for yourself in our teacher directory. There's a lot of bonus programs that are also included. They're shorter routines, so you can do those and can round out all of the practices that you're doing. If you are on Facebook, you will get an invitation to join the teacher-only Facebook group. So it's only the teachers, only the people that are in the teacher certification program are invited to that. That is optional. You don't have to be on Facebook to participate or to complete the program. It's just if you have Facebook, there's a place for you to join and hang out with the other teachers if you want. There's also a 5-element personality quiz that's included. And I want to make sure that you can actually see the right, yeah, you can see the right thing. And access to the open office hours, like I said before. This is all included. There are no extra charges layered on top. You get everything that you need to get certified is included in your tuition. And because I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's going to come up, the tuition or the cost to enroll is right now is $3,497 US. This is includes the $500 off. So normally it's $3,997, or you can do 3 payments of $1,257, or you can split it up into 12 payments of $337. The $500 discount is already applied to those payments, so those are all taken off. There is a small payment plan surcharge that's layered on top of the payment plans, so the best is to just pay in full if you can do that. All right, that's everything that's included. And once you enroll, this is what you see after you log in to the teacher certification program. All of your modules are here on the left. They say week, but it's really should probably say module is a better way to think about it. You do not have to go through it in 16 weeks. I think one person has ever done that. They were really, really fast with it. We have all the links to all of the Q&A calls and master classes and live things that we're doing for the teacher certification. They're all listed here right after you log in. We also send you emails about them so you can get them in your email. So you can see here the next Q&A call with Lee is at November 13th, 10:30 a.m. Pacific. So in about a month. We have the next masterclass with John Platt on the power of Earth energy on October 13th. That's coming up pretty soon. And we have all of the upcoming open office hour times here listed with Jenny and all of the Zoom links and everything. And you can join the Facebook group here. You can sign up for your private lessons. All of the certification stuff is here and outlined. So we try to make it easy for you to have everything that you need to participate. Very, very available. Once you get started, you will start with Start Here and watch this video and read these pages. It orients you around a little bit more in depth than what I'm doing now. And there's lots of information here on how to navigate through everything. More than actually I thought there was. Lots of scrolling. Once you get into the content itself, all of the modules or all of the weeks are organized in a very, very similar way, where you'll have broken down videos. So you have this individual video with some written material, and each week has a quiz. Each module has a quiz. So we recommend you go through all of the content in the module and then you take the quiz to progress to the next one. So each of the videos or each of the lessons are broken out into an individual video. So it's a lot easier to navigate around. So this video will just be a 46-minute lecture. This one's a 16-minute lecture. And then you have this 35-minute routine that's just a routine. So we try and separate out the lecture kind of material from the actual movement material. There's some journaling prompts for you to do, broken out meditations, Q&As from when this was taught live, and this would be everything inside of weekend one or week one. You don't have to do all of this in a week. We recommend you kind of figure out your own pace, and then you can progress through at your own pace. These are some of your bonus programs here, and you can download a bunch of stuff, the teacher manual and the quiz as well. And yes, the quizzes are repeatable. We just want you to have a good understanding of what was covered in the module, what was covered in that week's content before progressing to the next, but you can repeat it as many times as you need. And if we go back and go to week 2, you'll see it's broken up very, very similarly. So everything's broken out easily for you. So that's the show and tell that I wanted to give to you, so you have a sense of what's actually inside the program and what you're going to get when you enroll. Was that helpful? Yeah, cool. Glad that helped. Jenny, could you share a little bit more about the masterclasses? That's something I should have actually shown off. What are the masterclasses?
Absolutely. I would love to. Yeah, the master classes are one of the, in my opinion, like the big perks, the big bonuses of being in the program, because there's a new one every 2 to 3 weeks. So twice a month we have master classes, and these are with our Holden Qigong senior instructors. Current senior instructor lineup includes Kelly Baker, we've got John Platt and Lewis Regan. That's not to say we haven't had other senior instructors in the past, and we have had quite a pantheon of different talents come in, and all of those master classes have been recorded, archived and are available in a pre-recorded library. So when you come in, not only will you get the live experience when you want to drop in for that, but you also get the archive of everything that's been pre-recorded. I haven't counted recently, but there are well over 100 of those now. So I'll say it's something that can sometimes be a little overwhelming coming into the program. So it's totally up to you. These are a bonus. They're not a requirement. Some teachers choose to kind of put those in their back pocket, come back to them after they've earned certification, because the learning just continues through Masterclasses. Other teachers just love taking it all in at once and just soaking in it. So you can do them right along with you. It's really however you want to access those, they are available to you. Jen, anything else that I should say now?
How many master classes do we have available?
Well, like I said, I haven't counted them recently, but it's well over 100 that are archived. So quite a collection, many hours of viewing. And, you know, for example, right now, our 3 senior instructors, Kelly Baker, one of the things that she does super well is to kind of crack open Lee's brain. I know she's constantly bugging him with precise, detailed questions. Thank you, Lee, for answering those, because then Kelly comes back to us and kind of breaks things down, makes it more bite-sized and digestible. On the other hand, Lewis, also Holden Qigong certified, he has trained in a lot of different lineages, so he'll often take Lee's teachings and kind of bring them up a notch and add in like, well, you might see this in this tradition, or you might see that. So you get a nice comparative perspective coming from Lewis. And then there's John, who's been seeped in everything Qi and beyond for a long time. And he will bring in just kind of brand new eye-opening topics that put a new spin on things. So Jen, there, I'll leave it at that. I could go on and on.
Well, we counted before we did this promotion, and we have over 140 masterclass.
Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Cool.
Which means I think there's more masterclass time, training time, than there is core content in the teacher certification material.
There is. It's kind of like an additional certification, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yeah, and those are all available immediately after you begin. I would recommend just starting with the core content and then starting to dabble in, like, kind of looking through the whole library, because there's a lot of stuff in there. And that's 140 masterclass recordings, over 140. So that's nearly twice as much content as what's in the core teacher certification at this point. So, all right. Katie was asking earlier, when is the next chance to join this program, and are we in Pacific time? All of our times are in Pacific time. Whenever we're talking about a time, it's always going to be in Pacific time. We try and provide other time zones though, or tools for you to check that. And you can technically join the teacher certification whenever you want. It is a self-paced program that's always available. The thing that you're missing out on by waiting is the $500 discount. So you can wait if it's not the right time for you, but it will go back up to the normal price of the $3,997, I think, on October 13th, next Monday. So Annie, I think that also kind of answers your question, which is, when does the training start? It starts as soon as you enroll and can watch the first video. It could start like in 5 minutes if you want. It's the benefit of these online things. And Aneska is asking a question that I think is best suited for Lee to answer. So we can bring Lee back up. Lee, Aneska is asking earlier, I can't practice Qigong. I'm bipolar, and I'm 7 days into your 30-day challenge, and I had to stop. I started having more symptoms of my disorder. I've been on medication for years, and I've been stable for a few years now. Paradoxically, I had more energy and felt overall better, just apart from the symptoms after the practice. I wanted to cry when I heard all these stories. I guess I thought there was a teacher question here, but I don't think there is. Do you have anything that you could share with Aneska?
I mean, I think that is a factor for Qigong. As you raise energy, what happens, sometimes symptoms get more amplified. it can be a healing response where the energy is moving through the system, but it is good to work with somebody one-on-one or in conjunction with the therapist as you do your Qigong practice with any kind of more serious psychological or mental health issues, PTSD, bipolar, schizophrenia, things like that. There are practices that really, really help. And it sounds like you're resonating with the practice. So what I would do, I think doing 5 elements practices would be very helpful. I think doing 3 treasures wouldn't be recommended at this time. So I think a 5 element practice, whether you did the course or starting with the healing sounds. The healing sounds are usually what we would really lean into with something like bipolar and doing sounds that help to purge out energetic imbalances that will help to create mood stabilization and psychological benefit. So I think some of those coursework, healing sounds course, Qigong for emotional balance might also be a nice workshop to start with. And then work in conjunction with any therapist that you have. If you need a recommendation, you can let us know as well. But that's what I would recommend. And thanks for the question. That is a really good point. Because Qigong can really amplify the energy, and all of a sudden it's like on one level I feel better, on another level I feel worse. It's because the energy is starting to work into the areas within the system that need to be addressed, and sometimes it can be too much too fast.
Go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lee. And is it okay to adapt the material in the teacher training to teach at Christian churches?
Absolutely. I think that's a great thing. Montauk Chia is one of my Qigong teachers, and he always related Qigong teaching to Christianity because he grew up in the Christian church in Thailand, which is a Buddhist country. So I loved his story where he predominantly grew up in a Buddhist country, but in a Christian family. And he, in high school, got turned on to Taoism and all these energy practices with his Qigong master. So the nice thing about Qigong is it really can pair well with, not only any religion, but also any like belief systems, because it's just helping with our energy. It can be just exercise and breath work and mood stabilization and stress management, or it can be also a very spiritual practice. It really flows well with whatever you want it to be.
Yep. Awesome. And so then would you say that Qigong is religious?
I would say it's spiritual.
Thank you. And do we talk about, I think the question is, do we teach the teachers how to make Qigong safe for older adults? Which if we could expand that out, I think is a modification question. And do we teach teachers how to modify for different people depending on their body types?
And we do, absolutely. And the nice thing about the practice is it's done slowly, and you can skip any exercises because we do have part of our workouts where it's conditioning and strength building and strength training and building resiliency and flexibility. But for we're always talking about how to modify those, and then the flowing movements are just so easy for all body types and all ages, and people could even do those 5 element flows and a lot of the 3 treasures flows sitting down.
Cool. Thanks, Lee. And can someone teach with only the Tier 1 certification?
You can. With your Tier 1 certification, you can teach. And we encourage you to teach.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
Yeah. And what if someone really isn't interested in becoming a teacher and they just want to learn Qigong and develop some personal skills?
I think it's a great way to do it, because by doing the teacher training, you get such a deeper, richer dive into the practice. And you have all those masterclasses, and you get all the Q&As. And even if it's just sharing some of these practices with your friends and family, you'll be surprised that you get inspired to start talking about what you're doing and your work and your practices. And all of a sudden, many people who started the teacher training that didn't want to teach are now teaching. And we hear time and time again how it really helped to just deepen their practice in immense ways just by doing the teacher training, and that people didn't take it to teach and they don't teach, but they found so much value in the training.
Beautiful. Thanks, Lee. And Katie or Kati, maybe, forgive me if I'm not getting your name correctly, from Norway, is asking if they were to continue with Tier 2, that would you have to come to the United States to get the Tier 2 certification? Katie, or Kati, I'm hoping I'm not getting your name right. I can tell. We are looking at scheduling a Tier 2 training in Europe at some point, once we know that we have enough people there that are ready for the Tier 2 certification.
Yeah.
Right now, we're only doing them in the United States, but it is on our radar to plan a training in Europe. So probably by the time you get your certification, I'm guessing in about a year, if you started now and were consistent, there would be something on the calendar, is my guess. But we don't have anything confirmed at the moment. So, Lee, you want to share anything, add anything to that? Kati.
Yeah, no, I would love to do some training in Europe. So I will. It seems like I'm getting to Europe at least once a year, so I think we could piggyback something over there, in 2026.
Cool. Awesome. And are you able to teach a little bit of Tai Chi after the Tier 1 certification?
Yeah, I was just seeing that. I answered,
Good.
not really. I mean, in the 5 element flows, there are a few Tai Chi movements that are done in a Qigong way. You'll be certified. And then what I would recommend if you wanted to teach Tai Chi is just take our Tai Chi, get certified, and then take the Tai Chi course, because I teach in there some very short routines that go really well with Qigong. So it's almost like a Tai Chi Qigong form. So especially in the beginning of our Tai Chi practices, in the beginning of the Tai Chi course, there's some very simple Tai Chi ways to teach that go really well with our Qigong certification. So the short answer is no, we don't teach Tai Chi in the teacher training, but we have a Tai Chi course that would pair well with it.
Awesome. I think we usually recommend to finish the teacher training before starting to layer on other programs. So it'd be like, go through the teacher certification, get the certification, and do all of that stuff. And then you can progress into Tai Chi or any of the other programs and layer that on top.
Yeah.
Foundational knowledge.
Unless you're already like proficient in Tai Chi, then you could do all your Qigong as warm-ups and then end with the little Tai Chi form that you teach as well. But if you don't know Tai Chi, then go through the teacher training, and then, like Chen said, do your Tai Chi afterwards.
Yeah. Cool. And Olympia is asking, would you recommend the same for people in addiction programs? And I think this is in reference to your response to what was her name? Aneska. I think Lee's typing a response.
Oh, yeah, I was typing a response. Sorry, Chen, what did you say?
Olympia is asking if you would recommend the same for people in addiction programs. And I think it's in reference to your answer to Aneska.
Oh, to Aneska. Okay. With addiction, you can, I find that people that dive into the practice a little bit deeper is fine. And it works really well as a transition, as a substitute for using a substance. You're using the Qi to make yourself feel high on life and high on your energy system rather than a substance. And so it's different than like a diagnosable psychological imbalance, bipolar or schizophrenia, where you really titrate the practice and use specific practices to help move slowly through. With addiction, you can dive dive in deeper and do the practice in a much stronger way, because it helps to create that bridge between getting off a substance and feeling good within yourself.
Cool. Thanks, Lee. And then there's a question from Sarah from earlier that I think Jenny answered in chat, but I'll answer it for everybody else as well. Sarah's asking, I'm currently in the video class subscription, and if I understand it correctly, the same classes would be offered in the teacher training, so I would have to cancel the subscription. I'll answer that question and a couple others that I think are sort of embedded in there. The teacher certification and our subscription classes are entirely separate things that you can continue if you would like. We generally recommend, unless you are very active and have a lot of time to devote to both, that you pause your subscription and just focus on the teacher certification until you get through most of the core content, and then you can come back and restart your subscription and continue your classes that way. There's also, I think, a question of if you are currently doing one of our other programs or one of our other courses, like the 3 Treasures, I think there may be some people in 3 Treasures here, or if you've just recently completed the 5 Elements online course. If you've done either, if you're in 3 Treasures right now, and or you did 5 Elements earlier this year, make sure to reach out to support, and I think you should have received emails with coupon codes where you can apply that tuition to the teacher certification program. So the 5 Elements and 3 Treasures are the 2 primary courses that make up the teacher certification, and then there's specific teacher material included as well. So if you've done either of those courses with us, we allow you to apply your tuition to the teacher certification. So make sure you check your email, and you should have received coupon codes from us. I'm pretty sure. If you can't find those, just reach out to support and they'll be able to help you out. Nancy, Iron Shirt is not included in the teacher certification curriculum. So if you are in Iron Shirt right now, I think it's kind of up to you on whether or not you want to start the teacher certification program or not. You can also enroll and take advantage of the discount right now and finish Iron Shirt and then start the teacher training, because Iron Shirt is relatively one of our shorter courses. So Lee, anything that you'd like to add to that? If someone's actively doing another program, is it too much?
I mean, it depends on the person, because you can, because of the self-paced nature of these practices and the teacher training, it's you can definitely synergize the curriculum. Iron Shirt is a great practice because it just takes the standing postures that you'll learn in 3 Treasures and 5 Elements deeper, and you'll have a deeper understanding. It is something that I would recommend because of the postural and alignment training and the breathing practices and the power that it builds. So it synergizes really well with 5 Elements and 3 Treasures and our teacher training, if that's something that you wanted to do. And like Chen said, it's a shorter course, so it's easy to just kind of fold in together, where you're alternating days and in the training that you're learning or practicing. And same with subscription. You can keep up with your subscription, just doing it 2 or 3 times a week, and then do your teacher training 2 or 3 times a week. And that's a nice pace as well. Some people dive in and do 2 sessions a day. They're doing their teacher training, and then they're doing another course or a subscription. So it depends on you and how much time you want to allocate to the practice. But it can work really well synergistically.
Oh, thanks, Lee. All right, we've been here for almost 2 hours. This is a
Great session.
Thank you all so much. I think I'm going to start wrapping things up. So if you have any final questions, now's the time to get them into chat. And I'm going to just share again. You can get $500 off the entire Tier 1 teacher certification program up until October 13th. Let me just double check that date. Is it October 13th, Jenny? It's Monday next week. I remember that. Up until the end of the day, Monday next week.
Yes.
And thank you. We'll put the link into the chat for you to enroll if you're ready to enroll. And if you're not quite ready or you'd like to talk to someone one-on-one and just get more direct questions or personal questions answered with someone that's actually gone through the program, you can sign up for a clarity call with a member of our team, and they'd be happy to sit down with you and just answer all of your questions and talk you through everything and make sure that it's actually right for you. We'll put the link to sign up for those clarity calls into the chat as well. We'll send out all of the links that I'm talking about, as well as a link to the entire recording from today in an email later today as well. And if you do sign up for a clarity call and the call is happening after Monday next week, we will honor the $500 off discount for you, so you have that spaciousness to talk to the person on our team and decide if it's right for you. So feel free to sign up for a call, and if you can't do it until next week, that's totally fine. We'll make sure that it still works and you get the $500 discount. So, all right. I don't see any other questions coming through, so that's great. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Lee. Any final words?
Guys, it was another inspirational Tea with Teachers. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for your time. And I'm excited about those of you that I'll see in the program and continuing this journey on sharing this information, because I think as teachers, we're spreading healing energy in a world that deeply needs it. And I think that is the mission that I've been on for the last 35 years. So I'm so excited about being on the mission together. So see you in the teacher training, guys.
Wait, Lee, we have a question that we need to answer
Okay.
from Beatrice. Is 72 too old to start?
72 is the perfect age to start.
That's what I thought.
This training is I mean, it's such a great health and longevity practice, and doing it in your 70s is like, what a great thing to do in your 70s. I mean, it's a great thing to do anytime. And if somebody said, is 25 too young to do it, 25 is the perfect age. So it really is going to be an enhancement to your life at whatever age, at whatever fitness level that you're in. It'll just create more energy, less stress is what we're doing. And who doesn't want that at any age?
You're here. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jen.
We'll,
Thank you, Jenny.
hopefully
Thanks all you teachers.
see you in the program.
Yep.
Thank you all.